Gordon, thank you for joining us today.
It's a pleasure.
Gordon, Columbus seems to be working on a lot of different work streams at the moment. Water pilot programs, well optimization, and general site upgrade. Considering this, is the company still focused on becoming cash flow positive by the year end in the midst of all this work?
Absolutely. I mean, the driver of the business at the moment is to become cash flow positive through the actions that we're taking. Initially, it was actions taken to reduce our cost base, particularly in London. Reduce our G&A costs. That was something previous management had commenced, and we were able to finish with the removal of the offices and so on. But fundamentally, it's the activities that we're doing in Trinidad. We have as Leo says, a really extensive opportunity base in the Good Run field with 160 wells that we can actually actively go for. So the activities you mentioned, the upgrades, the well optimizations, the water flood plan, it's about utilising the assets in the best way to unlock that extra cash. I think it's probably worth mentioning that we've got quite a unique oil in Good Run. Because of the nature of the oil, there's no nasties in it. So you would expect to see something like H2S or particularly this sort of depth or other products like arsenic. We've got a clean oil. The only product we remove is water. That's really unusual, but it also means that from an operating cost perspective, our marginal costs are almost negligible. We've got fixed costs that we have to run, but those fixed costs generally stay the same. So as we increase production, it produces cash. And for every barrel a day or per month of extra production, 1 barrel a day produces $1,000 of cash. You start multiplying that by extra barrels and we'll suddenly be producing a lot more cash. There's also the oil price situation. Oil price ranging around about $50, $52 for WTI. For every dollar a barrel, we receive about $10,000 of cash. So that, with the increase in production and the increase in the oil price, or at least looking at the oil price, we start to see real benefits. And we run our numbers internally at around about $45 a barrel. We received $48 a barrel last month. We may receive more next month because of where the oil prices are going. So to answer your question, in a long way, it's about cash flow delivery. That cash flow will allow us to grow, and we're still on target to do that by the end of this year.
You've recently restructured the details of the Lynn facility. Could you tell us a little bit more about that?
Yeah, Lynn have been very supportive of the company since they put their facility in place late last year. But there was one element of the facility we felt was constraining the business, and that was the way that the conversion price for their first tranche of money was constraining our ability to grow beyond that price. It was 3p a share. So we approached Lynn, had a very open dialogue about where we wanted to take the company, to such an extent that they were really supportive. They were very open about how we could potentially move forward together. In fact, to such an extent, they want to put more money into the company. We're in that strange position. They can force us to take more money. And we're going to receive another $750,000 in the near future. What does that money allow us to do? It actually allows us to grow. We can actually accelerate things we would have been planning to do next year. So Lynn's support has been extremely positive in that respect. It's probably worth mentioning as well that we're in control of our finances. It's all about cash flow management, about being able to grow the businesses using our own internal resources. So do we need to raise more money? No, we don't. But we're always open to looking at potential partnerships, strengthening the balance sheet in a way that would be through some sort of strategic relationship. And we were looking at one or two options there which will allow us to grow even more rapidly.
Now, Gordon, the interim results highlighted a strong period of change for the company. What were the reasons for this?
I think the company had got to a point in the early part of this year where it was struggling for the market to hear what was going on. So I think the new leadership has been given the opportunity to take the fog away from the past. And the fog was hiding the assets that we've actually got. I mean, Leo looked at them in detail when he was doing his analysis of the company. And what he saw astonished him. We've got quite an amazing oil, 38 API oil that shouldn't be where it is. We've got fantastic assets in the southwestern peninsula, which we believe can unlock potentially some large value over time. And we've got amazing running room on our fields in Trinidad. On top of that, we believe we've got the potential to grow within Trinidad. conversations with government, with Petrotrin about expanding our footprint in country will allow us to grow. So new management have been able to look at things in a slightly different way than has been done in the past, partly because of the experience of Stuart and Leo, who come from that background of oil operations on the ground, unlocking it and actually optimising what you've actually got before then looking to reinvest and put new wells in the ground.
So an exciting 6 months with Leo at the helm.
I think you could say that, yes. He's a tour de force. I mean, the man is a visionary, and it's difficult not to get behind him. I think everybody in the company is hugely excited about what we're seeing. And I hadn't worked with Leo before and came across him early April when I was in my role as a non-executive director of the company. Approached him through a third party, a good friend of ours, and talked to him about the company. And asked him to look at the fundamentals of the company, to try and get through the fog of the past and just look at what we've got. And he was amazed at what he saw. It was actually my wife. Told my wife on the day I first talked to him, I thought we had a 5% chance of getting him because, look at his CV. But that percentage chance went up over time when I introduced him to Stuart. We were talking to Stuart about coming on and joining us in the company. Stuart has spent the last 15 years doing exactly what he's doing in Trinidad, unlocking fields, the potential for fields. I'd worked with Stuart for 3.5 years in Madagascar in previously. So I knew what Stuart could bring. So putting Stuart and Leo together, just seeing them bounce off each other, particularly the ideas factory of what they can do with the assets we've actually got, it's fascinating. And on a daily basis, we have our public targets and we have some internal targets. And I think our internal targets are ambitious, and we'll see how they go. But we look at the production reports on a daily basis with keen interest. It's a fascinating ride.
Well, Gordon, thank you for your time today.
Thank you.